The gloves have been off for a while. The battle lines long drawn. And finally now, the poll bugle sounded.
For Maharashtra, this will be in single phase. The notifications, date of notifications are in front of you. Date of poll would be 13th November and 20th November, both Wednesdays. And date of counting would be 23rd 11th, that is Saturday.
These are Maha polls and will have Maha impact. 28 days to go before the first vote is cast. Maharashtra Assembly Elections 2024, date of polling 20th November. Jharkhand, date of polling first phase 13th November, second phase 20th November. Date of counting both states 23rd November. By polls in 9 assembly seats of Uttar Pradesh, date of polling 13th November. Political circles abuzz. Why by polls assembly seat of Milkipur not announced? EC says some petition pending. The seat fell vacant after sitting Samajwadi Party MLA Avdesh Prasad defeated BJP's two-time sitting MP Lalu Singh in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections poll on the seat of Faizabad, Ayodhya. Lok Sabha seat by polls, Wayanad, 13th November. The first poll test for Priyanka Gandhi. Lok Sabha seat of Nanded, polling 20th November. The former seat of former Congressman Ashok Chavan. Result day 23rd November. The biggest face-off in the political amphitheatre nears. Let the games begin. Well, let the games begin, and the biggest games of all, with possibly the biggest prize, especially this year, with maximum implication and impact, is going to be the state of Maharashtra, viewers. Let's cut across directly right now. Rajdeep Sardesai, consulting editor, Sahil Joshi, managing editor, Rajtak, Mumbai Bureau and Mumbai Tak. In the studio with us will be Ashutosh, author, political analyst, Sanjay Kumar, co-director, Lokniti CSDS ephologist, and joining us as well will be Amitabh Tiwari, political strategist and commentator. Rajdeep, to begin with you, the importance of your own home state. Maharashtra elections cannot be missed, Rajdeep, coming in after Haryana. How big are the implications?
Well, Preeti, I think Maharashtra elections are easily the most significant state election of 2024. Firstly, size matters. Remember, 288 seats in Maharashtra make it the second largest state after Uttar Pradesh Lok Sabha Vidhan Sabha, and therefore the stakes are high. Mumbai is the commercial capital of the country. And given all that has happened in Maharashtra over the last 5 years, 3 chief ministers, 2 big parties being broken, the stakes are enormously high. And particularly after the Congress's defeat in Haryana, this becomes virtually a do-or-die battle for the Congress and to some extent the India Alliance. All the momentum that it had from the Lok Sabha elections was arrested by the BJP partly in Haryana. Now the final bragging rights of 2024 will depend on kaun jeetega Maharashtra. So this is not just an existential battle for the regional parties of Maharashtra like NCP and Shiv Sena. This will also decide the bigger war between the BJP and the opposition, between the BJP and the Congress. So for a variety of reasons, Maharashtra is now a critical state in these election battles.
You know, I'm going to pull in Sanjay Kumar into this, Ashutosh as well, as we put out the graphics, Sanjay Kumar. If you look at what happened in 2024 Lok Sabha elections, if we just translate the results of 2024 down to what could possibly be the results in assembly segment, at least in that, the Aghadi looks ahead right now.
No, you're right. If you go by the numbers, nobody can doubt that number. So nobody can say that the numbers are not telling the truth. If you look at the leads in assembly segments, Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi has a decisive lead over Mahayuti. But one should also look at the vote share estimate, because that gives you a sense of the support base of the two alliances. And if you look at the support base of two alliances in terms of vote percentages, it is actually the same. Only a few thousand, about 1 lakh or 2 lakhs vote difference. So yes, sometimes we know the proportion, the votes don't get into seats in similar proportion as you would expect. We have seen recently happening in Haryana. If you look at the vote share estimates between BJP and Congress, it is less than 1%, 0.78%. But look at the difference in number of seats. So if you look at the number of seats, one would get the sense that Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi is way ahead in the electoral race, going by the performance in Lok Sabha. But don't forget to look at the vote share estimate, because that also gives you a sense that Mahayuti is not lagging behind.
Well, that's exactly what Mr. Fadnavis, the Deputy Chief Minister, says. And Ashutosh, you have a prime example in Haryana in front of you. Vote share-wise, you had both parties that were facing off practically exactly the same vote share, but drastically different in terms of conversion to seats.
See, I agree with Sanjay, and I'll add a few points here. Because if you look at the figures of the vote share, what is the difference between the Aghadi and the Mahayuti? The difference of 0.16%. 0.16%, which is almost the same. It's like Aghadi has got 2 crore 50 lakh votes and the Mahayuti has got 2 lakh 48 crores. So, but if you look at the numbers of the seat won by both, so there's a huge difference between them. In my sense is that if Mahayuti has to form the government, then there has to be resurgence in the BJP, because BJP contested 28 seats and won only 9. That is almost 32% strike rate. And whereas the Congress got contested 17 seats, it got 13. It is almost 72% strike rate. So the decision is not between Uddhav Thackeray, Shinde, Ajit Pawar and Sharad Pawar. The fight is between the BJP and the Congress, and whosoever manages to have a better strike rate will win the battle in my understanding. And I think that is why it is very, very significant that Congress should pull up his socks. Congress should not commit the same mistake which is did in Haryana. In Haryana, they took it for granted. They had given too much autonomy to the local satraps. And look what happened. And the Congress has to realize that the discipline is more important. Till now, the Congress has not given a sense that they are going to take action against Shelja, or against Bhupinder Singh Hooda, or against the Deepak Bawaria, or against the KC Venugopal. Because these are the people who are responsible for the Haryana elections. If they messed up, there has to be some responsibility. Rahul Gandhi has to step up, has to show his leadership. If he doesn't do the same, if repeat the same mistake in Maharashtra, then I think only the God can save.
That's, once bitten, many would say many times shy, especially coming after Haryana elections. A lot of political analysts, strategists, commentators, whatever you might want to call them, are taking everything with a pinch of salt. If Haryana wouldn't have happened, you would have looked at this, and many times we've discussed this before. Yeah. Most of the people sitting here would have said advantage Aghadi. And today everyone is saying, hey, hold it. Look at the vote share. Anything can happen. And that is true. Anything can happen. Let's quickly...
No, if there is an accident, if you're driving on the road,
right,
it makes you more careful. So 100%. There has been an accident. Everybody is careful.
Well, and there was an accident for many who are, who've been commentating where politics is concerned. But having said that, listen into political reactions. We'll bring in Sahil Joshi, managing editor, Raj Tak, after that.
आपल्याला जास्तीत जास्त जागा यावेळेस नाशिक जिल्ह्यातनं त्या ठिकाणी निवडून आणायच्यात. त्याबद्दल तुमच्या आशीर्वादाची मला गरज आहे, तुमच्या पाठिंब्याची गरज आहे. मी शेतकरी आहे, तुम्ही शेतकरी, आपल्या दोघांची जात शेतीची आहे आणि ह्या योजना पुढे आपल्याला चालू ठेवायच्या. हे जे खोटा नाटा प्रचार पसरवतायत त्याला तुम्ही भीक घालू नका, त्याला बळी पडू नका. जे लोकसभेला घडलं ते आता ह्या ज्या योजना मंजूर केल्या, हजारो कोटी रुपयाची कामं आपल्याला करायची आहेत. अजूनही काही तिसरी आघाडी आहे, अजूनही काही उभे राहतील, तो त्यांचा अधिकार आहे. पण विकास कोण करणार आहे? विकास कोणी केलाय, पुढे विकास करण्याची धमक आणि ताकद कुणाच्यात आहे, केंद्रात निधी आणण्याची क्षमता कुणाच्यात आहे, हे आपण लक्षात घ्या.
मोदी जी उस वक्त विदेश में नहीं है तो सिंगल फेस में कर लिया. इंतजार था कब डेट करेंगे या चुनाव करेंगे, चुनाव नहीं करेंगे, कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. तो चुनाव की घोषणा हुई है तो अभी हम सब लोग तैयारी में लगे हैं. हम चुनाव आयोग से इतनी अपेक्षा करते हैं कि आप इस राज्य का चुनाव हरियाणा जैसा मत करिए. सत्ताधारी पार्टी की जो सब सामने आई है बातें, महाराष्ट्र में ज़्यादा हो रहा है, पैसों का खेल चलेगा, पुलिस का और यंत्रणा का भी मिसयूज होगा. तो ये सब चुनाव आयोग अपने आप को अगर निष्पक्ष मानती है, अपने आप को मानती है, हम नहीं मानते, तो आपको ये करना पड़ेगा.
115 से 120 सीटें महाराष्ट्र में लड़नी चाहिए, ऐसी रिपोर्ट आपको दी गई है, क्या कहेंगे?
सीट शेयरिंग का मीटिंग अभी पूरा नहीं हुआ है, जब होगा तब आपको पता चलेगा. ऐसा 288 जगहों पे मानकर सगळे लड़ेगी, ये हमने बात कही.
All right, let's quickly bring in Sahil Joshi, who wants to counter, of all people, Sanjay Kumar in the studio. Sahil Joshi, what is it that Mr. Kumar has said that has got your vote?
Well, I'm not trying to counter what Sanjay Kumar has said. I'm just trying to put it from different perspective altogether. I mean, let's look at the vote share from a different perspective. Yes, it is a fact that the difference between the Maha Vikas Aghadi and Maha Yuti in 2024 Lok Sabha elections is hardly 0.7%, and it has given a jump of 31 seats to Maha Vikas Aghadi, whereas Maha Yuti has come down to 17 seats. That's a fact. So let's talk further from that. You know, but in Maharashtra, the elections are fought region-wise, unlike Haryana. Haryana is a small state. Maharashtra, every region itself becomes a small state, like Vidarbha, Marathwada, Mumbai, Konkan, North Maharashtra, Western Maharashtra. So, you know, let's look at the numbers from these regions. Specifically, if you talk about BJP, because BJP has overreaching presence in Maharashtra at this point of time, and still the number one party, even from the vote share perspective. So, 2019, the BJP's vote share in Marathwada, please understand, was almost 40%. In 2024 Lok Sabha elections, it has come down to 13.8%. Sorry, 13.4%. So the drop of the BJP's vote share in a crucial region like Marathwada has dropped drastically, number one. A region like Vidarbha, where BJP was 48.1% in 2019, whereas in 2024 Assembly election, Lok Sabha elections, it has come down to 30%, so almost 18% drop in the Vidarbha region. Now let's look at the seat numbers. In 2019 BJP tally, 2014 BJP tally as well, 40% of the seats BJP has won come from Vidarbha region, and where BJP has already seen 18% drop. 25% of the seats BJP has won in the assembly have come from Marathwada region, and there BJP has seen a significant 25% drop. So where BJP has gained votes, or where BJP has retained its vote share, that is in Mumbai, Konkan and North Maharashtra region, where they have improved their tally. And that is the reason why what we can see is that the actual difference between the Maha Yuti and Maha Vikas Aghadi is only 0.7%, but where it actually matters in those regions, the BJP's vote share has drastically gone down. What else it tells you is that there is a big rural distress in Maharashtra, and that is the reason why we are seeing schemes like Ladli Behna, the Ladki Bahin, Mukhyamantri Ladki Bahin scheme in Maharashtra, where they are paying up 2 crore women directly, and almost 7,000 rupees have been paid till now. So we'll have to wait and see how much that scheme makes an impact. Even if it makes an impact, the jump what the BJP should look at, because unless and until BJP's performance improves in Marathwada and Vidarbha, Maha Yuti has a tough challenge. Even today, Maha Yuti has a tough challenge, and they have to make the significant improvement of almost 10% of its vote share in Marathwada as well as Vidarbha. Only then Maha Yuti can think of reaching to a figure of 144 and 150. So that is the tough election what BJP is looking at this point of time in Maharashtra.
Sahil, because you're all the way in Maharashtra, you can be, many would say as a political journalist, this brave to say it for what it is, because many of us who've come back at the, back of Haryana,
You take everything with a pinch of salt, because the same rural-urban distress, the caste-wise calculations had been discussed ad nauseum. Region-wise, the Jat belt, it was all been discussed and nothing really came to point.
Preeti,
But
yes. Preeti, please understand. Please understand. Just one line. Just one line. Similarly, like in Maharashtra, the Haryana, the BJP's seats had gone down in 2024. But despite that, the BJP and Congress were eye to eye, 5-5-5 each, almost equal. But in Maharashtra, that did not happen. The BJP's tally went down from 23 to 9. So that's a
to 9 considerably, and Congress rose from 1 to 13. Fair point.
And Congress won from 1 to 17. That is the point. Yeah.
All right. Okay, fair point. I just want to bring in Amitabh Tiwari into this conversation, who's a numbers guy. Amitabh, it's practically going to come down to where battles are concerned, how the Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray, performs against the Eknath Shinde faction, how the NCP, Sharad Pawar faction performs versus the Ajit Pawar faction, and how the Congress faces off with the BJP, which is possibly in the Vidarbha region of Maharashtra. These three battles will decide the end result.
Yeah, so essentially there are two teams, as Sudhirji mentioned in one of the programs, NDA or Mahayuti and MVA. Now Mahayuti BJP is the captain, but it has given the captain's cap to Eknath Shinde. Now in Mahavikas Aghadi, there is no clear captain as of yet. So there is infighting as to who will be the CM face and who will get the maximum seats to contest. Now Maharashtra is 5 to 6 state elections into one election, because different regions have different dynamics. Now, if you see the overall vote share, as Sahil was mentioning, it is equal. But if you see the region-wise vote share, the MVA was ahead in Vidarbha, Western Maharashtra and Marathwada. These three regions itself account for almost 180 seats. Now, if you see who is the Asli Shiv Sena and who is the Nakli Shiv Sena, or who is the Asli NCP and who is the Nakli NCP, sort of. In 2024 general elections, Shiv Sena as a combined entity got 30% vote share, out of which 17% was backed by Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray and 13% by Eknath Shinde, which means around 60-40 the votes of the original Shiv Sena were split between these two entities in 60-40 ratio. NCP, 10% vote share by NCP Sharad Pawar and only 4% of Ajit Pawar, which means almost 70-30 is the ratio of the original parent party, which was split in these two factions. Now, not only they have to get the vote share of the core or original supporters, they will also need proper transfer of votes from BJP to Eknath Shinde and from NCP to Eknath Shinde. BJP to Eknath Shinde is still possible because these two parties are natural allies. They have been allies for a long time in Maharashtra. But NCP to Eknath Shinde's party, that is one of the key concerns.
Right.
And similarly, on the other side, from Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray, a vote transfer to NCP, because again, they have been at loggerheads.
So it's going to come down. It's going to come down to these direct contests that. Right. So it's going to come down to these direct contests. And also, just a short while ago, right before Haryana went to vote, we actually had all 6 biggest political players, call it a television coup or not, all of them coming in and explaining and detailing on what their campaign is where Maharashtra is concerned. Listening to the incumbent Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, and of course he'd be facing off with the Uddhav faction, Aditya Thackeray. Listen in.
ओरिजिनल शिवसेना उनको हमने पीछे कर दिया, उनका 40%, हमारा 47%. ये हमने लोगों ने उसके ऊपर क्या कहते हैं ठप्पा लगा दिया है, ठप्पा लगा दिया, मोहर लगा दी. और जब हम 13 सीटें सामने लड़े, यूबीटी और शिवसेना, 13 में से 7 हम जीते, वो 6 जीते और वोट शेयर हमने ज्यादा लिया है. इसका मतलब है लोगों ने तय कर लिया असली शिवसेना, बाला साहब की शिवसेना, आनंद दिगे जी की शिवसेना, धनुष्यबाण वाली शिवसेना कौन है.
सर, हम पत्रकार के तौर पर यह भी देख सकते हैं कि बीजेपी ने लड़ी 28 सीटें, मिली उनको 9, आपने लड़ी 15 सीटें, मिली आपको 7. तो आपका स्ट्राइक रेट उसके मुकाबले ज्यादा अच्छा
है. अरे भैया, स्ट्राइक रेट तो आप अपोजिशन का और हमारा लगाओ ना, वो लगाओ, वो स्ट्राइक रेट लगाओ.
Would you like Uddhav Thackeray ji to be projected as the face of the India Alliance in the Maharashtra Assembly elections.
Would you like inter-party disciplinary action to be taken on me if I say something? Look, I mean, frankly, like I said, if today there is a person who can lead the state in a very, unified manner, in a manner that is able, yes, Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray stands as one of those foremost people who can lead Maharashtra, because we want someone who will speak about the Maharashtrian pride. We want someone who will speak about how do we take Maharashtra ahead. As of today, if you ask me, do you pitch him as the Chief Minister's candidate? I think it all depends on how we perform. And if you look at the polls across Maharashtra today that happened during Lok Sabha, if you ask the perception of the state of Maharashtra, I think everyone's standing with the MVA.
I want to quickly bring in Sanjay Kumar into this conversation. Sanjay Kumar, there is a point which Eknath Shinde makes. Even if you look at the Lok Sabha vote share, seat share, Eknath Shinde actually bested the Uddhav Sena in that.
If you go by the numbers,
yes,
what you're saying is correct. That if you look at the results of the Lok Sabha election, what you're saying is absolutely right. But I think we have to also figure out when there is a Lok Sabha election and when there is an assembly election, people in different states have voted differently, because when it comes to voting for the assembly election, people know that they are going to elect the government for the state. Look at Delhi is a good example, and there are other examples of that kind. If you look at the assembly election and the Lok Sabha election, which are held back to back in Delhi, you see people voting very, very differently. So yes, Lok Sabha election gives us an indication, but I think we still need to wait and watch to see how things unfold in the Maharashtra Assembly elections.
But Ashutosh, by that logic, what Mr. Kumar is making, understandable. But if you look at it, turn it around, because the BJP actually did quite badly for what they were going to do where Lok Sabha elections were concerned. So if that was the logic, the BJP should have done well, and Eknath Shinde, because it was the BJP at the center, would have done well. Here, Eknath Shinde did well, but the BJP didn't do quite as well. Going into this election, that whole sympathy factor that we were speaking of, Uddhav, the face of, the chief minister, will it actually come into fruition or too early?
See, if you go by strike rate, then the Sharad Pawar has got the best strike
rate,
80%.
True.
Followed by Congress, 72%. And then probably Eknath Shinde party has got the strike rate, almost 48-45% vote share. So that's not the right way to judge the politics over there, because if you look at the vote percentage, Shiv Sena Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray has got almost 17%, almost 16% vote share, whereas the Eknath Shinde group has got only 13% vote share. So in terms of vote share, Eknath Shinde is not
but the number of seats is also very different.
Yeah, number of seats are also different. So the issue is that BJP, you cannot write off BJP despite having a pathetic strike rate. It has still got almost 26% vote share, which is almost 10% more than the second best, that is the Congress party. So how can I write off that party? And secondly, in parliament election, many people had voted not for the Eknath Shinde but for the Narendra Modi. So will that argument work in the assembly election? That's a different ballgame.
Let me ask somebody who's neck deep in this assembly election, and that's Sahil Joshi. And Sahil, sometimes being neck deep could also be too close to the bone, so you really do miss the woods from the trees. But asking you the same question, it's going to actually come down to that. Let's look at the Shinde Sena facing off with the Uddhav Sena. Who do you think has the edge? Because if you look at the number, Shinde Sena not so badly placed. And they have the schemes right now going for it.
Well, I'll put it in this way, the results of Lok Sabha. How it helped Eknath Shinde is basically to boost his point of view that he's the real Shiv Sena and he still has supporters with him. His speech at the Dashera rally made it very clear कि मुझे हल्के में मत लो is what the sentence which he specifically used. And why Eknath Shinde could not be taken lightly is basically because let's understand why the BJP's performance was so bad. And Eknath Shinde managed to have a better strike rate than that of the BJP is basically because BJP's own vote percentage went down in Vidarbha and Marathwada, from where BJP was expecting to win more seats, and that has been BJP's fort since 2014 and 19. But BJP also could not get the kind of votes. I mean, they had the arithmetic right, but they did not get the chemistry right. So BJP could not get the kind of support they expected from Ajit Pawar and Eknath Shinde, where BJP's candidate was contesting election. Whereas where the Eknath Shinde's candidate was contesting election, they managed to get all the support from the BJP, because the BJP voter was voting to get Narendra Modi elected as the Prime Minister. BJP's voter was voting to put Uddhav Thackeray and Sharad Pawar away. So BJP's votes got transferred to Eknath Shinde, and Eknath Shinde's strike rate was brilliant because of that. Whereas on the other side, Uddhav Thackeray was fighting the battle specifically in Mumbai and Konkan region specifically, which has been Uddhav Thackeray, Shiv Sena's bastion, alone, because he did not have a support of NCP or Congress in that region. He had to take the fight on his own. And that is where Uddhav's performance has gone down. Whereas Uddhav's performance has done better where he has got support from the Congress, like in Mumbai, like in Marathwada, in seats like Yavatmal Washim from Vidarbha. So what has actually helped for Mahavikas Aghadi is that the transfer of votes to each other within the Mahavikas Aghadi partners, and also the chemistry which they have built since last 5 years. Whereas what went against the Mahayuti is basically the lack of transfer of votes to each and every partner, and lack of chemistry between three partners in Lok Sabha elections.
All right, Ashutosh wants to come in, but let me quickly get a question from Rajdeep. Rajdeep, as per you, the big fights here, because we practically put it down, it's going to come down to how each of these alliance partners face off with the other alliance partners, and primarily where regions are concerned, as Sahil explained, Marathwada, Vidarbha, where the BJP Congress will be in a direct contest. As per you, what will it come down to?
Preeti, 288 seats on offer in Maharashtra, but I would divide it broadly into 5 regions. Vidarbha, Western Maharashtra, the 2 largest regions in terms of seats. Then Northern Maharashtra, Mumbai, Konkan, and then you have Marathwada. Now, out of these 5 regions in the Lok Sabha elections, the Sharad Pawar faction of the NCP and the Congress dominated Western Maharashtra and Vidarbha, and that gave them the edge in terms of seats, 30 to 17. To my mind, that is the very minimum that the India Alliance needs to stay in the race. They have to dominate Vidarbha and Western Maharashtra, and to some extent Marathwada. I do believe there is another battle, the Shinde Sena or the Shiv Sena versus the Shiv Sena UBT in Mumbai, Konkan. There it's a really tough fight where the Shinde Sena has held more than its own in the Lok Sabha. Can they replicate that in Vidhan Sabha? Possibly. Northern Maharashtra, last time the election results got skewed with the onion export restrictions that angered farmers. And I think rural distress will be the major factor in rural Maharashtra, which connects these various regions, and infrastructure projects that the government claims to have done for urban Maharashtra will be a factor. Plus, of course, the Ladki Bahin scheme. That's the X factor. Can Eknath Shinde use Ladki Bahin in the way Shivraj Singh Chauhan used Ladli Behna for giving monies to women? Will that be the game changer as it was in Madhya Pradesh, in Maharashtra? I think that's an important factor that again cuts across regions. But yes, there will be seat by seat battles. And remember, there are a number of independents who will also come in. Because those who don't get a ticket, Preeti, will contest from some smaller party or the other, or as independents. And therefore, coalition management, alliance building and seat sharing becomes critical in an election like what we are going to witness in Maharashtra.
You are right, Rajdeep, and don't we know that too well, especially after the state of Haryana, where the role of independents and how, and the kind of role that they can play in the final tally when the numbers stack up. Let's quickly listen in to another face-off, which is going to play quite badly on ground, and that is, let's listen in to Prithviraj Chavan, who fancies himself as a possible CM face for the Congress. Well, they all do. If you look at it, we even had Ajit Pawar in our conclave saying the same. But listen in to Prithviraj Chavan facing off with the Deputy CM, Devendra Fadnavis.
Is the Congress making a mistake once again, not for the first time, of getting overconfident and counting your chickens before they are hatched?
Every election is a different election. And you can't be ever overconfident about the mood of the people. But I would always say MVA. We are not saying Congress. The reason why we did well primarily was the division of opposition votes was avoided. In 14, 19, you have done a lot of analysis on all. It's only because of the opposition vote divided into multiple factions that Mr. Modi won. Now that mistake was avoided. Creation of India Alliance. Although it was not a perfect alliance, it was a master stroke.
But your own Maharashtra leader, Balasaheb Thorat, is on record to say Congress will emerge as the #1 party and the next Chief Minister of Maharashtra will be from the Congress.
Our time-honored practice since 99, when Congress party went into alliance mode, was the largest party gets to name the Chief Minister.
ऐसा किसी ने नहीं सोचा होगा कि बीजेपी कमजोर कड़ी साबित होगी। लोगों को लगा कि एकनाथ शिंदे की सेना कमजोर हो सकती है, कुछ को लगा अजीत पवार शायद अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं करेंगे, लेकिन जब एंड एनालिसिस हुआ, एनडीए में आप कमजोर कड़ी साबित हुए।
पहली बात तो यह है कि बीजेपी को कमजोर कड़ी कहना यही सबसे गलत एनालिसिस है। ये जिसने एनालिसिस किया है उसको नए तरीके से एनालिसिस करना सिखाना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि बीजेपी ने 9 सीटें जीती, 12 सीटें बीजेपी की, ये 3% के भीतर हम लोग हारे हैं। 6,000 से, 4,000 से, 5,000 से हम लोग हारे हैं। और आप टोटल एनालिसिस कर लिए, हम ही #1 पार्टी है, हमको ही सबसे ज्यादा वोट मिले हैं, तो कोई बीजेपी बिल्कुल कमजोर कड़ी हुई है ये कहना गलत बात है। हाँ, ये बात मैं स्पष्ट रूप से कहता हूं कि जो फेक नैरेटिव जिसके भरोसे एमवीए ने सीटें जीती, आज वो लोग जान चुके हैं कि ये फेक नैरेटिव है।
All right, so that is Maharashtra, and yes, that is the Maha polls of all polls.